Chad really does love Michelle. Like, he really, really does. I am your girl, Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing, Ray of Sunshines? Today is Truthful Thursday, where I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I really, really do. If it's your first time visiting my channel, what up, though? Go ahead, click the red subscribe button to become a Ray of Sunshine. And like peanut butter and jelly, click the notification bell because it goes with it so you don't miss the video I upload going forward. So I was watching Chad Loves Michelle so that I could review it, but was moved to combine it with my Truthful Thursday. Truthful Thursday be like 6 minutes, but today it's going to be a little bit longer because there's a few things that I just want to talk about and address. I really hope you guys are watching Chad Loves Michelle because I am going to probably put this in the rotation of a regular review. Chad is a sports pastor. Best way I can think of it, a spiritual advisor to those in the sports community. Professional, nonetheless. You know Michelle from Destiny's Child. If you like me, you probably thought she was a little weird. I still think she's a little weird, but I have a better understanding of her after watching this first episode. Really quick, let's just talk about their relationship so I can talk about what I want to talk about for Truthful Thursday. Number one, they've been dating for a year. They have been celibate. They met at Chad's church. She did what we know how to do as women. I'm gonna fix your plate. Honey, he showed, seen her, knew who she was, knew what her values were based on her being famous. And there she wrote. That's how I'm gonna say it was. And they started dating. Another thing they talked about was they hadn't met each other's family, but he knew he wanted to marry her. So he bought a ticket to her hometown so that he could go meet her family and ask for her hand in marriage. That made me cry because men don't do that anymore. They don't go to your family and ask for your hand in marriage. I haven't heard of it. I know one guy that's going to do it for a friend of mine, but my husband didn't ask my parents for my hand in marriage. The nigga just bust out a ring at our tree trimming party and asked me to marry him, put me on the spot. Like, oh, okay. Nonetheless, she was moved. He asked her to marry him and showed her, after he showed her the video, that he went to ask for her hand in marriage. Did I say that they were celibate? And pretty much, he lives in Arizona. She lives in California. They have somewhat of a long distance relationship, even though I want to say Phoenix and LA are about 5 hours apart. So really, it's not really that long. You can come any kind of weekend. But he's been spending a lot of his time with her, kind of putting all his stuff on the back burner for her, because like he said, when you find somebody that is for you, you don't want to let her go. You kind of give up everything you can to be with her. And he had been waiting for a while for God to speak to him about who his wife would be. So long that for 10 years, he had been, help me out, y'all, saving up to buy a ring for his future wife. Just so happens he believes that to be Michelle. Beautiful ring that he, why I keep saying wing? Beautiful ring that he chose to give to Michelle. Absolutely beautiful. We meet some of their friends. We meet his best friend Morgan. We meet his friend and also gospel singer Israel Houghton, who's married to Adrian What's-Her-Face from The Real. We meet George, who is Michelle's best friend, and they have a conversation. They have a couple conversations, one of which was about the dynamic of their friendship once she gets married. He's all like, I'm going to be a third wheel. I told him that I'm going to be a third wheel. He cool and everything. I realize I like George, and I'm going to be a third wheel. Pretty much saying what every person thinks, every best friend thinks. Like, now you're getting married and you're going to walk away from me. You're going to leave me. It's going to be you and him, and it's going to be no more me. Well, maybe in the beginning that's how it works, but I'm glad that he addressed it so that Michelle could see how he felt right off top. Because in the beginning it is me and you, we newlyweds, we getting to know each other, especially since they celibate. We fucking, like, they going to be doing a lot of stuff that George can't be privy to. But I'm glad that he had a conversation with Michelle about their friendship and where it would lead and where it's going. Pretty much he gonna be a third wheel. You ain't getting rid of me that fast. A couple other things that I thought was important were that Michelle talked about her mental health breakdown when she admitted herself into the hospital for depression. And if you admit yourself into a hospital, it's severe depression. How she felt the onset coming on, the onset was she started feeling like she wasn't good enough for him. That is the plight of a lot of women. Put a pin in that. She was feeling like she wasn't good enough and she needed to get healthy because she didn't understand what was going on. She felt it, which means to me that she's been depressed before, that she may have been diagnosed with depression. I think we know for sure with clinical depression before. So because she was aware of what the symptoms were, she knew it was best for her to go admit herself. But what I liked is that he said, I'm going to stick by you. I love you. I'm going to be with you during this. I'm going to come and see you. But the onset of it was right before I don't want to be with you. I'm not good enough. Here's the ring. And we see that she had said that to him several times. Take the ring back. Here's the ring. Here's the ring. And in their therapy session, Dr. Tama asked her, how many times have you tried to give the ring back? And she said 3. And he said, I won't let her take it off. Now, I'm going to just tell you something. I'm going to stop right here and say this because this is where things start getting real for me as it relates to the show. Starts where I want to talk about Truthful Thursday. Number one, Chad Johnson is fine as fuck. I mean, people were wondering if he was white or black or whatever. He fine. Okay, Chad can get it. And if the men look like that on the other side, you could just go ahead and have me put on my swimsuit because nigga, I'm swimming over there. But we know that they have issues just like our black men, and I would prefer to be with a brother. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. Others is looking real good to me because brothers be tripping. Hold on, that's a whole different Truthful Thursday. I'm in my feelings about some shit. But the fact that Chad cares about her well-being and is not going to run at the first sign of trouble speaks volumes about his character, what his beliefs are, and how much he loves her. Because I don't care if you're a pastor or not. I don't care if you're a first lady or not. If you can't deal with something, you be out of there. Talks about him. That shows us who he is as a person altogether. All right. When they go see their premarital counselor, Dr. Tama, I'm probably butchering it. They have conversations. One of which is he says, I feel bad when she says that she feels like she isn't good enough for me. I ain't never thought I wasn't good enough for somebody. Like, they might not have been good enough for me, but I ain't never felt like I wasn't good enough for somebody. I mean, sometimes we do have issues of we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not smart enough. And then in relationships, we start to project our emotions onto other people. I don't make enough money, I'm poor enough, I'm too fat, I'm this, I'm that. All of that becomes things that we project onto other people, feelings, ideas. And then I start to think about and wonder, is that what the thing is that changed their mind about you? You started feeling some kind of way. You started vocalizing that with your mouth. And because they aren't as spiritually grounded as Chad, they started to believe you and started to treat you how you started to say you felt. Hello, somebody. I just dropped some knowledge on y'all. Y'all can take that as part of Truthful Thursday. That's the truth. What we tell people, how we react, how we walk around is how people see us. They start to believe us. If you aren't confident in your abilities, neither are they. If you think you the dumbest rock in the box, all rocks are dumb, then so be it. That's what people are going to see, what you project. I'm brilliant. I'm beautiful. I'm financially sound. Like, start saying things about yourself that show that you are loving and kind to yourself. Love on me. Hello, somebody. They also started talking about past relationships. And Chad made a point when he said, when things got rough, I normally just walked away. And she said, where do you think that comes from? And he said, well, I think it comes from my parents. They were married. I never saw them angry. And then they got divorced. And what I realized is that I didn't know how to deal with conflict resolution. I don't know how to do conflict resolution. I'm quick to run because I have never seen it done. I've never had anyone work issues out in front of me. You know how families be like, oh, don't argue in front of the kids. Yeah, but it's okay to have a conversation. It's okay to work through issues. I thought that was very, very profound because I think about conflict resolution as I see it from my parents. My mother and her relationships, or my mother with her father, with my father. I think about how it wasn't conversations to discuss, how it was cursing out, bad talking to one another. Like, that is a learned behavior. That's something that we see. Check your past relationships. If you feel like shit ain't working out, I'm talking to me when I talk to you, we better check our past relationships and see what it is that we're bringing into every one of those. And I'm bringing my mouth every time. And I'm telling y'all, I only want to use my mouth for uplifting, supporting, and edifying of souls. Like my soul, your soul, my husband's soul, my boyfriend's soul, whomever. My husband and my side boo. I'm just playing. Which went right into what Michelle was saying. Michelle had started talking about how she had learned to run and to retreat from seeing verbal abusive relationships and someone being physically abusive. All she knew how to do was to go away, to run from the situation. It's getting too much. I know how to be by myself. I know how to deal with me. I know how to be secluded. Like, I was like, yeah, like both of these things are me. I think a lot of this is a lot of us can relate to this. And if you're not watching, watch. Go back and check out episode 1. And then she was saying how my mother wasn't verbally abusive, but she could cut you with her tongue. I was like, I come from a long lineage of two-sworded tongue cutters. Like, I open my mouth and I will slay you, stab you, pull your heart out with my mouth. That's not what I want to do. That's not what she want to do. But she said, I go for the jugular. I pull it out. I like this show because it's showing a believer being real. I mean, y'all might see it as fake, but I can see the truth in it. I can see the honesty in it, the revelation in it. And they gave homework of going on. Each of you take a date. Each of you take the other out on a date and write vows to yourself. Chad's date, I love the picnic idea with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because she loved peanut butter and jelly. But what I loved most was his vows and how he celebrated his vows about himself and what he needed to do for himself because that's what it was for. And then turned around and celebrated her because she came so far. Like, as women, we don't really get that much support. Like, that got my tear ducts watering up. Like, we don't have people supporting us like that and saying, I'm proud of you as Black women. We don't have men telling us that they're proud of us, that they see us struggling or they see us standing tall like a pillar. That you're coming out on the other side. I know it's been rough and you've been doing things for yourself to make it better. Like, we don't see that. Another reason that makes me think maybe I should be trying to cross somebody's bridge, baby. Y'all brothers better get it together. You better get it together real quick. And then I was disappointed though at her date. She took him to the rooftop of a hotel where there was other people at and they sat in a cabana. Like, I was disappointed. I was disappointed in her vows to herself. Like, really? They seem superficial. Like, did you not put no thought in it? Did you just think about this right now? Are you not taking this relationship serious? Hello, somebody. Tell me something. There were a few lessons that I've taken from this for Truthful Thursday, y'all. One, I didn't talk about it, but they were in the car and she was saying she learned a lesson about learning to listen. And in order to listen, to active listen, you really need to be quiet. You need to let somebody finish what they have to say, not to interject, not get ready to hear, to start too busy thinking about what you want to say before they finish to learn how to listen. Like, I feel like a lot of women in general need to learn that lesson, me included. I mean, I know that lesson. I don't always practice it because I feel like what I have to say is important. But I also feel like if we would just be quiet sometimes, we might learn something. If we would just be quiet sometimes, we would figure out what the real issue is. If we would sit down and have a dialogue and communicate, because I want to discuss something doesn't mean I want to argue. And the arguing comes, what I realize is that arguing for us comes from when it seems like we're being combative. You know, men want to say black women argue too much, we nag too much, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. But I understand now that part of that is because we interject. And it's not that we're being argumentative. That's how we talk. If you see two women sitting together and we talking, we'll change subjects, cut you off, change subjects, come back. Men can't do that. They have to stay on one track. They have to talk about that one thing. And if you pay attention to two men's conversation, one talks, the other one listens. That one talks, the other one listens. It's never two people talking over one another. When as women, we talk over one another. And it's not because we're arguing, it's just because we got stuff to say and we can follow along. And I think that we need to understand that men don't operate that way. So that's how come when we interject or when we try to say what we want to say while they talking, it feels like we're nagging and it feels like we're being intrusive or interrupting and disrespectful, when that's not the case. That's not the case. I mean, I really want men to sit back and think about, maybe she's not arguing. Maybe it's not meant to be an argument or argumentative, all them words. Maybe that's just the way that she speaks. Afford us that. But I really want us to be able to sit and have a conversation, to converse, to talk about what our issues are, like they did in therapy, discuss them and figure out how we gonna move forward. I'm gonna practice not interrupting anybody. But when I'm talking to my girlfriends, they're gonna be like, what, are you listening? Because they're used to me going, girl, wait, do you remember how I ain't got no boyfriend. Hell, at this point, I thought I had somebody that I was liking, but it don't seem reciprocated, so I'm gonna have to pull up. I don't like feeling like somebody's moved on and I haven't. I got to move on too. Anyway, I am your girl, Talisa Rae. Thank you so much for watching the mashup of Truthful Thursday and the review of Chad Loves Michelle. Let me know what you thought about this episode down below in the comments. Do you think, I feel like it's going to be a good series. I really hope that you're going to watch it with me. Do you think that they're mixed? They look good together. She's weird though, but I understand her better. Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll see you on the next video.